Stewie Griffin isn't your average toddler. This kid has got enough evil world domination ideas to make even Adolf Hitler shiver. Well, here are 10 times Stewie Griffin went full psycho. In Hannah Banana, we witness Stewie's descent into madness. And trust me, it's going to be a wild ride. We learn of Stewie's obsession with Miley Cyrus as the toddler professes his love for the musician.
I love her so much!
Nothing unusual with idolizing a pop star who sings about love and heartbreak while dressed in glitter. Well, sorry to break it to you, but this kid is anything but usual. So, when he learns that Miley will be performing in Quahog, it's totally understandable that his excitement is palpable.
The Miley Cyrus tour is coming to the Quahog Civic Center for 3 nights only. Call to get your tickets now.
However, the joy is short-lived when Stewie discovers that tickets are sold out. Such a vibe killer.
But not now, because it just sold out.
Stewie really wants to be at the show, although Brian doesn't think it's anything special.
It's a stupid show and a huge waste of time.
Stewie can't believe his ears. Hannah Montana is his favorite.
Oh my god, Brian, it's my favorite show! It's my favorite show ever! Hannah Montana is my hero!
In true villainous fashion, he concocts a plan to blackmail Brian by threatening to strap him with a lethal dog collar. As Stewie's obsession for the pop star increases, he tortures 9 different dogs just to see her live. All these dogs are related to Brian, as this is just a blackmail scheme for Brian to help him get a ticket. Brian reluctantly agrees, and off they go to sneak backstage at the concert. You weren't possibly thinking Stewie was going to be a decent, upstanding citizen this time, did you? Well, not the Stewie we all love. At the concert, Stewie gets the chance to sing together with Hannah Montana, and this makes him so excited.
You and I didn't quite get along when we first met.
However, Stewie's excitement quickly turns to horror when he discovers Miley is not just a pop star, she's an android.
Oh god, I can't believe she's an android! Do you think we should tell someone or do something?
The revelation is shocking, and instead of calling the authorities or running for the hills, Stewie decides that reprogramming this robotic teen sensation is a much better idea.
Hi, Stewie.
Hey, your shirt tag is showing. Let me just,
Ah, Stewie, just let the lady breathe. As Stewie dives into his mad scientist routine, chaos ensues. He gleefully revels in the pandemonium as Miley begins glitching and spewing nonsensical lyrics like a karaoke machine on the fritz.
Miley Smash!
Picture an android throwing a tantrum while belting out off-key pop tunes. Weirdly, the malfunction is humorous for Stewie, raising so many questions about the toddler's mental health. Psycho baby. In one particularly memorable exchange, Brian suggests,
Do you think she does other stuff like a real girl? You know, if you reprogrammed her?
Brian, that's 6. She's 16.
for once, some moral concern. Eventually, the android Hannah Montana is killed. Way to go, Stewie.
'Twas beauty killed the beast.
So much for being obsessed with Miley Cyrus. Poor Hannah Montana. Quahog should have never been an option. Yup, we're getting into number 9, with Stewie losing his grip on sanity. Or is he just getting started? You thought the last episode was wild? Wait till you see this one. Go Stewie Go is one crazy adventure with Stewie Griffin, the tiny villain with a flair for drama. In this episode, Stewie discovers auditions for Jolly Farm Review and decides he must be part of the show.
They're going to be making an American version of Jolly Farm right here in Quahog.
I mean, who wouldn't want to see a toddler in a dress vying for the limelight? So he casually struts into the audition room to state just how deserving he is of the opportunity. Unfortunately, he discovers that there's only one role left, and it's for a little girl.
Sorry, all the boys can go home. We only have one part left for a little girl.
However, Stewie isn't the type to give up that easily. You can't imagine what crazy idea he came up with. Yep, you guessed it. He decided to cross-dress.
I don't want to go home. I want to be on Jolly Farm.
Stewie then adopts the stage name Karina Smirnoff.
Our next young actress on the audition list is Karina Smirnoff.
Hello, everyone.
His transformation into Karina is nothing short of spectacular. He struts around with all the confidence of a toddler who just discovered sugar. So, while on set, he falls head over heels for his co-star Julie and tries to woo her by pretending to be someone he's not.
Hi, I'm Julie.
When Julie expresses her affection for him, or rather Karina, Stewie's reaction is priceless.
Oh, That would be so fun!
You can practically hear his gears turning as he plots how to keep this charade going. But wait, here comes Randall, the obnoxious co-star who just can't stand seeing Stewie, aka Karina, getting close to Julie. Randall's jealousy leads to a series of confrontations. As the plot thickens, Stewie decides to unveil his true identity during a live taping. This moment is filled with tension and drama.
I've got something to say, Mother Maggie. For I am not who you think I am. I am not little Mary Sunflower, daughter of Bradley and Teresa Sunflower. I'm a boy!
When Julie's mother forbids her from speaking to him after this revelation, Stewie is left heartbroken.
Her mother won't let me see her.
Who knew that cross-dressing could lead to such emotional turmoil? In the end, Stewie says goodbye to his dress and hello to a scoop of rocky road, a tale of ambition gone awry, sprinkled with sarcasm and just enough absurdity to remind us why we love Stewie Griffin. After all, who wouldn't want to see a baby genius grappling with love while wearing a dress? Who doesn't love a toddler with a British accent and a love for world domination? In the episode Chick Cancer, Stewie's life takes a dramatic turn when he becomes obsessed with Olivia, a girl in his preschool class who's modeling for a popular juice brand and clothing line. At first, Stewie's not interested in Olivia romantically. He just wants to bring her down a peg because she's getting too much attention.
Oh, that's perfect, Brian. We have to go down there this weekend and heckle her roundly. I'll humiliate her worse than Luke Skywalker did to that rebel pilot.
Stewie becomes drawn to her when he notices how fantastic she looks at an opening ceremony. But when he tries to impress her, she rejects him, saying she's into sophisticated men. Ouch! Stewie's ego is bruised.
Look, Stewie, you're sweet, but since I moved to Hollywood, I've done a lot of growing up. I'm dating more sophisticated men now. But it was good to see you.
Brian tries to help him out, suggesting that Stewie uses the tough way. That is being mean to Olivia to make her come back to him.
Women respond when you treat them like crap.
Well, Stewie takes his dog's advice.
Well, Olivia, prepare to meet a much darker Stewie Griffin.
Now, very determined, Stewie shows up at Olivia's asking her out for fun.
Hey, babe, what do you say? We going out Saturday night?
Stewie, what are you doing here? I told you I'm just into a different type of guy.
Olivia refuses and Stewie uses mean words, and as Brian predicted, it gets to her.
She said yes. My God, I'm cooler than that cheetah from the commercials.
They start hanging out and having so much fun. Stewie could only wish the moment lasted a lifetime.
Olivia, I can't think of any place I'd rather be than right here, right now, with you.
Stewie and Miss Olivia get married, but the joy is short-lived, as soon enough as they have a big argument. So much for their perfect love story.
My problem is you. You're acting like a baby.
Brian then tries to talk some sense into Stewie, telling him that it's not his fault. He decides to apologize to Olivia and take responsibility. An apology? Yes, it's time to act like a gentleman, or should I say, gentle boy. Well, Stewie shows up at Olivia's house, ready to grovel, but things take a turn when he meets another guy there.
Oh, Stewie, I thought you were at Chuck E. Cheese with your mom.
Olivia tries to explain, saying,
Stewie, this isn't how I wanted it to end.
"Oh, really? You wanted it to end, actually, with a dramatic confrontation and a pinch of crazy?" Stewie's not having it. He finds out that the other guy is using the same gift he got for Olivia. Awkward.
Is that the silly putty I bought you this weekend?
Stewart's anger reaches new heights, and he storms out, declaring that he's never going to show up again.
I should be going.
No, how about you stay here and I leave and never come back again?
But we know Stewie better than just a dramatic exit. Stewie decides to take it up a notch and burns down Olivia's house.
Idea for a farce. Cheating wife and Papa's ass burned alive.
Because, that's not a psychotic overreaction at all. I mean, who needs a healthy relationship when you can just torch the other person's house? Stewie's cycle of crazy is way on the next level, and we can't look away. Well, Stewie Griffin is at it again, and this time he's taking his psycho antics to new heights. In Season 6, Episode 8, McStroke, Stewie decides to reinvent himself as Zach Sawyer, a high school heartthrob. Who wouldn't want to be a teenage heartthrob at the tender age of 1? With Brian doubting Stewie's skills, they place a bet.
Would you care to place a wager on that?
Stewie is to prove that he can become the most popular boy in high school in a week. He is also to prove that he is cooler than the guys in high school.
I'm a freaking baby and I'm cooler than they are.
With all the charm of a baby-faced sociopath, Stewie waltzes into high school by entering Meg's school bag just to prove how cool he is, charming the pants off everyone. He introduces himself as a transfer student.
I just transferred here from rich, expensive, car-driving, sex-having high school.
I guess the name of his former school is more or less the basis of his popularity because what's with the long, crazy, and non-existent school name, huh? Stewie then comes back to tell Brian how successful he has become and how he enjoys what he is doing.
Well, Brian, you've lost your bet. I, or rather my alter ego, Zach Sawyer, am currently the most popular boy at James Woods High.
Unfortunately, and eventually, they discover he is not so large down there after he goes out on a date with a girl named Connie.
Check out my penis. Yeah, I am ready for sex. I drank 8 gallons of water today. This baby's ready to explode.
His small penis becomes public knowledge, and Connie even calls him Baby Penis. How annoying is that?
Nothing, baby penis.
You can't imagine the mockery and ostracization poor Stewie has to deal with by this revelation. Stewie's response is nothing short of theatrical. He angrily confronts Connie D'Amico, the queen bee who laughed at him, declaring,
Well, you've effectively ended my reign of coolness, haven't you? You're a disgrace, you know that?
as well known our dear genius Stewie is, not the one to forgive and let go. How can he be? He not just seeks revenge, he crafts an elaborate narrative where he's both the victim and victor. Stewie concocts a plan so fast and executes it immediately. You can't hurt Stewie and get away with it. Never. He immediately asks Connie for one last kiss.
But before I go, could I maybe have one last kiss?
While she closes her eyes and bends down to kiss him, he undresses and begins to raise the false alarm that Connie is making out with.
Look, this girl is making out with a baby! A nude baby!
Connie is immediately arrested. How smart, Stewie. Satisfied, Stewie walks out naked. He exclaims,
That's right. To hell with you all. I am who I am.
"What courage!" Before I begin, I should warn you that this episode is not for the faint of heart. Proceed with caution. Yes, caution. In Season 16, Episode 12, Send in Stewie, please. Stewie decides to give therapy a try. What could possibly go wrong, right? Stewie walks into Dr. Cecil Pritchfield's office, ready to charm his way through the session. He starts with his usual over-the-top introduction. "I'm not just any baby." "Oh, great. Another humble genius," said no one ever. Stewie should have probably given up psychotic mischief for journalism. While in, the Mr. Know-It-All toddler wouldn't shut up.
You seem to have a lot of strong opinions.
Stewie then claims that he has a British accent, when we all know he has never been to Britain. He tries to fake the British accent, but he is so bad at it that the psychologist is able to tell that it's fake, which makes Stewie angry.
But you're the absolute only person who hasn't noticed it.
As the session begins, Stewie reveals his deep feelings, like how he pushed his classmate Tyler down the stairs. Apparently, it's not because he's a budding psychopath, but because he thought Tyler might not like him back.
I only pushed Tyler down the stairs because I like him, and I'm afraid he won't like me back.
Wow, what a healthy way to handle rejection. Then comes the moment when Stewie starts crying about being lonely.
I'm so lonely.
For a split second, you might feel sorry for him. But wait, just as you're about to shed a tear for this little monster, he breaks into a dramatic rendition of Hamilton. Who needs actual emotional depth when you can just belt out a few catchy tunes? Dr. Pritchford shares his own sad story about losing his parents during the Blitz. What's a little tragic backstory between therapist and patient, right? Stewie listens with all the sincerity of a cat watching a laser pointer. Oh, poor you, Dr. Pritchard. Now, about my plans for world domination. Just when you think things were going Stewie's way, Dr. Pritchard has a heart attack right after revealing too much about himself. And what does our dear Stewie do? He doesn't call for help. He refuses to give Dr. Pritchard his heart medication because he feels that he knows the real him.
It's because I can't have anyone know the real me. And so you must die.
Instead, he just watches him die. Well, I have never seen such a cold-hearted toddler. Guess what? He does this without feeling any remorse.
I feel less bad.
Imagine going into therapy and wanting to speak to a therapist, only to spend 5 minutes ripping them apart for literally doing their job. That's crazy. At the end of the episode, Stewie tells Brian that he did something terrible in therapy, but won't say what it was.
Brian,
Yeah?
I did something awful.
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
So what's next for Stewie? Will he find a new therapist to manipulate, work with? Will Stewie finally learn to control his evil genius ways? Yeah, right. And pigs will fly. One thing's for sure. With Stewie Griffin around, you can always expect the unexpected And that's what makes him so lovably despicable. In Season 10, Episode 18, You Can't Do That on Television, Peter, Stewie's mischief takes center stage alongside his father, Peter. Peter's latest bright idea is to get Lois on a children's TV show, and to everyone's surprise, she becomes a local celebrity. But with fame comes a price. And soon, Lois is mobbed by overzealous fans, including children, who start attacking her.
Look, it's Saggy Naggy.
Peter introduces Lois as Saggy Naggy to the kids in his Petey's Funhouse show on television.
Sounds like my cranky new neighbor just got home. Peter! Oh, hi, Saggy Naggy.
Peter knows he is always lazy, leaving every house chore for Lois. This forces Lois to shout and complain to him to help her out. He sees this as so much nagging, hence the name, Saggy Naggy.
You know, I'd lay off the nagging if I was you. I'm a children's TV star now.
Speak of being a good husband. Next, we see her at the store where she goes to shop with Stewie. She is then attacked, with some very mean things said to her.
I don't like you, Saggy Naggy. You stink, Saggy Naggy.
What's the most creative way to take down a mob of angry fans? Asking for a friend. One throws a pie at her like what Peter does on TV, and the others laugh. They begin to throw things at her and beat her up. Stewie, being the mischievous baby he is, joins in on the fun and starts attacking Lois as well. Who needs family bonding when you can just beat each other up? Stewie hits his mother the most. He hits her head and kicks her so hard. How disrespectful. To think, Stewie was in the store as well, shopping with his mother. Isn't that ironic? Shouldn't he be the one to save her? Oh, poor Lois. Stewie Griffin is a master of mayhem, and with him around, you can always expect a psychotic response. We're getting closer to the top of the list. Now, we have Stewie Griffin's epic meltdown in Season 2, Episode 19. The story on page 1. Stewie's latest plan is to take over his brother Chris's body. He is sad about how small he is. He is thwarted at several places because he is small and also ignored at several other places. Yes, because why would a baby want to enter into a chemistry lab and tamper with stuff there? You would wonder.
I see. It's like the spice rack in my fantasy kitchen.
Hold on, little fella. This is just for big people.
This isn't the first time I've been thwarted by my small stature.
Yeah, that's totally normal sibling behavior. Stewie tries to auction off a death ray, but nobody takes him seriously because he's too short. He screams, but no one notices him, even for a second. Poor Stewie. Height is clearly not on his side.
I'm tired of being small.
At home, Stewie tried to reach for some snacks on the counter but couldn't because of his height. Chris comes to the rescue.
Damn my small stature.
He builds a mind control device that looks like a security headphone. He decides that he'd use Chris to execute his plans. He wants to use Chris to execute all of his plans since his height won't permit him.
If I could build a device to harness the size of that Leviathan, well, there's no limit to what I could...
As Stewie tries to control Chris, he plants the mind control device on Chris's head while he is asleep.
Well, let's take the old boy out for a spin.
The mind control device forces Chris to take his instructions, good or bad. Trust your boy Stewie. He'd never use his smart inventions for good, always coming up with one mishap or the other.
Good day, shopkeep.
Good day, shopkeep. I require a hand-operated buzzsaw capable of cutting through a human sternum.
He tries to control Chris into hitting his mother's head with an axe. But it doesn't work out as he plans as Meg steps in right on time. Meanwhile, Meg is trying to interview Mayor Adam West, who's being his usual eccentric self. He confuses Meg with Sarah Connor from Terminator and starts rambling about stolen water. Just another day in the life of Mayor West.
Oh, and I gotcha. Diagonally. Pretty sneaky, sis. That one's also funny.
Meg's interview quickly spirals out of control, while Stewie's antics reach new heights. He's finally managed to control Chris, but things don't go as planned. He never gets a full opportunity to carry out his plan of killing Lois. Looks like Stewie's plans for world domination will have to wait. In the end, Stewie learns that the task isn't as easy as he plans it. But hey, at least he has plenty of time to plot his next scheme. I know it's hard to imagine that anything will top that last episode, but unfortunately, Stewie's actions in 8 Simple Rules for Buying My Teenage Daughter absolutely does. In 8 Simple Rules for Buying My Teenage Daughter, Stewie Griffin dives headfirst into full-blown psycho mode, and it's a riotous spectacle. In this episode, Peter gets himself into a mess. He buys some things on credit and is unable to pay back. He tries to sell Meg to pay off his debt. because what's a daughter worth, right? Meg is babysitting Stewie because Peter and Lois are out for the night. And of course, Stewie never makes things easy for anyone. Meg becomes exhausted and weary of Stewie because Stewie stresses her out all the time. Stewie annoys Meg with 1,001 questions.
This is, awkward, but, have we ever actually, met?
Tired of babysitting him, Meg requests for a real babysitter to be hired so she could have her life back. To show just how frustrated she is, Meg tells her parents she's never babysitting again because she could be spending her Saturday night with friends.
If you don't want to babysit anymore, that's fine, but don't you stand there and lie to me.
First, that's hilarious. Second, where's the lie? Meg literally has no friends. Stewie hears this and he doesn't like the idea.
Damn! I'm terrible at meeting new people.
Next, Stewie and Lois start to interview babysitters. Obviously, it was always going to be a difficult process. Eventually, a very beautiful lady walks in and Stewie is stunned.
My God, I haven't been this exhilarated since Brian took me to see Les Miserables.
Stewie, as usual, is the real star of the show. He is so obsessed with his babysitter, Laudan, he is head over heels for her, that when she innocently compliments him, he thinks the feeling is mutual.
Stewie, you are so cute, I can't even stand it.
Who knew Stewie's got so much game? He is so smitten that he can't even bear the thought of her with someone else. So when Laudan introduces her boyfriend, Jeremy, to Stewie, the little guy is filled with rage and anger. He takes matters into his own hands. Matters have literally always been in his hands.
Some frat boy bastard with his damn Tiva sandals and his skull bandage!
Stewie runs downstairs excited to watch DVD with Laudan, his babysitter, but he sees her making out with her boyfriend. He is beyond furious and vows to end it.
Jeremy must be destroyed.
You'd never get away if you're on Stewie's blacklist. Stewie kills Jeremy, ties him up, and puts him in the trunk of a car for weeks. Just your average everyday toddler behavior. He's so psychotic that he doesn't even bat an eye when Laudan starts complaining that Jeremy isn't answering her calls. Stewie's all in his mind. Oh yeah, I totally didn't kill him. Why would I do that? Stewie then tries to seize this opportunity by making sexual advances at Laudan, but she turns him down, leaving him furious. So he sets her up.
It was all her friends. They were doing marijuana and heroin.
Eventually, Lois fires Laudan. Stewie's got some serious issues like, seriously, so might get this kid some therapy. In Season 17, Episode 4 of Family Guy, titled Big Trouble in Little Quahog, we find ourselves in the delightful, chaotic world of Stewie Griffin, who, as usual, is one miscalculation away from total anarchy. This time, he's taken his penchant for destruction to a whole new level with his latest invention, a shrinking machine. Because naturally, what could possibly go wrong when you shrink yourself down to the size of a flea? As the episode kicks off, Lois brings Stewie into the house with his face painted from a birthday party. Silly as always.
He got his face painted at a birthday party. It was the only thing this little guy could do.
Stewie unpacks his party bag and blows a whistle that annoys the hell out of Brian, making him excited.
I've always wondered what that sounds like to you.
Brian collects the whistle from him and places it somewhere too high for Stewie's short hands.
In fact, I'm gonna put it where you can never reach it. No! Good luck, shrimp.
As usual, Stewie always has a comeback each time anyone gets on his nerves. He maps out a plan to get Brian to apologize to him. To get his revenge, Stewie tricks Brian into the basement.
But Brian, I'm more interested in short stories.
Stewie uses his machine to shrink Brian's molecular structure. He then forces Brian to apologize for calling him short. And yes, Brian does.
All right, you made your point. I'm sorry.
For what?
For calling you a shrimp.
Shortly, Brian is captured by a rat, and Stewie has to shrink himself to go save him. But first...
Don't worry, Brian, I'll save you! But I'm a millennial, so first I have to watch a YouTube instructional video on how to do it.
The plan is partly successful as both of them emerge from the rat hole as shrunken people. With all the enthusiasm of a mad scientist who just discovered a new way to make his enemies disappear, he declares that they will embark on a new epic adventure.
This is like our Vietnam movie.
He exclaims, ignoring the obvious dangers lurking in their own home. After a few comedic mishaps with the machine, they find themselves shrunk down to a minuscule size. Stewie tells Brian to press the tiny button so they can return to their normal selves. But Brian ignorantly presses the wrong button, which makes them even tinier. Suddenly, their cozy abode transforms into an expansive jungle. Stewie's eyes gleam with manic excitement as he surveys his new world. The duo soon find themselves in a series of increasingly absurd predicaments. dodging giant insects that look like they've been juicing at the gym. In true Family Guy fashion, chaos ensues until they finally manage to return to normal size. After what feels like an eternity of absurdity, the episode wraps up with Stewie reflecting on their wild adventure while Brian just wants to forget it ever happened. And earning the top spot on this list is one of Family Guy's most popular episodes. In Season 6, Episode 5, Stewie kills Lois. We witness the most psychotic escapade of our favorite mischievous toddler, Stewie Griffin. When Lois decides to take a birthday cruise without him, Stewie's inner villain emerges in full force. It's Lois's birthday, so Brian gifts her with tickets for a cruise.
Oh my god, 2 tickets for a cruise?
Prior to the cruise, Stewie and Brian begin to anticipate that they'd be chosen to go for the cruise with that second ticket.
An hour from now, I'll be surrounded by seamen.
Stewie thinks he'd be taken because he's the baby. He already had his bags packed when Brian breaks the news to him.
Stewie, Peter and Lois aren't taking you with them. They've already boarded.
This episode is a masterclass in absurdity, showcasing just how far Stewie will go when his desires are thwarted. Fueled by childish rage, he concocts a plot so sinister. It's actually kind of impressive. I mean, who needs friends when you can just kill your mom and take over the world? Stewie alone, probably. Enter Brian, Stewie's reluctant partner in crime, who provides the voice of reason. Or at least, as much reason as you can expect from a talking dog. Let's be real, Brian's not exactly the moral compass of the Griffin family.
Well, no longer. Lois is a dead woman. I'll do to her what douchebags did to the guitar.
They both talk about Stewie's plan and what they would do to Lois for not taking them along for her cruise.
And then I'm gonna gag her with her own underwear.
With the determination of a toddler denied his pleasure, Stewie commandeers a speedboat and storms the cruise ship like a pint-sized Rambo. A toddler with a machine gun? Really? Armed to the teeth and ready for destruction, he channels his inner action hero as he approaches the unsuspecting vessel, his beloved mommy. As Lois lounges on deck, blissfully unaware of her impending doom, Stewie ambushes her. She asks Stewie what he is doing on the boat.
You drove me here, Lois, with all the indignities I've been forced to suffer day in and day out under your matriarchal tyranny.
Stewie, with a machine gun, is about to kill his mother. Seems like Stewie has plans for a career in assassination. In a moment that screams family bonding, he sends her plunging into the ocean like an ill-fated beach ball. 20 bullets later, she was gone. But wait, this isn't just about murder. It's also about Stewie's existential crisis. After supposedly killing Lois, or so he thinks, he retreats to his nursery to simulate what global conquest would look like without her nagging presence. As the episode unfolds, we see Stewie grapple with his own psychopathy. He's not just a baby, he's a conflicted mastermind. In classic Family Guy fashion, the episode wraps up with a twist. Lois survives. Wow, what a shocking twist. So, Stewie didn't technically kill Lois, but he also sorta did, just in a simulation, so still bad? The episode leaves us wondering if this was all just a fever dream or if Stewie's plans will ever come to fruition. Either way, it's clear that Stewie Griffin is the most entertaining psychopath on television, proving that even in the darkest moments of comedy, there's always room for a little absurdity. A classic tale of love and lunacy wrapped in one gloriously chaotic package. Stewie proves that sometimes love can take on the most bizarre forms, even if it involves a touch of madness and a sprinkle of chaos. Like and subscribe to the channel for more fun Family Guy content. Bye for now.